Well, blessed Thursday to you as we come to you with your daily encouragement. And once again, I just want to say I pray that you're doing well and that you're staying safe during these difficult days, at least in our neck of the woods. And I pray that God will bring you strength and encouragement. As we near Christmas, we're reminded of times we spend together. And on Friday and Saturday, Sunday, we'll have an extended focus on Christmas and take a little break from our time together with Dietrich Bonhoeffer. But these times are important to prepare for times together. And we've been talking about being alone and being with others and to prepare for being with others alone. We're finishing our time of meditation. And so, as Dietrich says on page 84, it is therefore not good for us to take too seriously the many untoward experiences we have with ourselves in meditation. It is here that our old vanity and our illicit claims about God may creep into our pious decor, as if it were our right to have nothing but elevating and fruitful experience, and as if the discovery of our own inner poverty were quite below our dignity. With that attitude, we shall make no progress. Impatience and self reproach will only foster our complacency and entangle us ever more deeply in the net of self centered introspection. But there is no more time for such morbidity in meditation than there is in the Christian life as a whole. We must center our attention on the Word alone and leave consequences to its actions. For many it not be that God himself sends us these hours of reproof and dryness, that we may be brought again to expect everything from his word? Seek God, not happiness. This is the fundamental rule of all meditation. If you seek God alone, you will gain happiness, and that is its promise. Now, one of the things that I've been learning about from other Christians and other pastors has been the difference between happiness or joy and joy, between circumstances and things that I can appreciate even when they don't go my way. Let me put it another way. I've grown to appreciate times where there's some dryness in my spiritual walk, times of preparation for things that I have not experienced yet or am waiting to experience it. Kind of the Advent mood I've been trying to speak on Sunday morning. There is an importance to having that dryness. Or if you take the biblical story, there's a time in the wilderness. Jesus spent 40 days of it in the wilderness. And there's a time to be in the party, the population centers, the place of growth where you see things happening. And we got to learn how to appreciate all of those seasons. Now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the weather, because one of the things that has been interesting in observing is how we had to change our plans because of the weather. We have many plans, and I know at least in one of my congregations we had to postpone our Christmas event. It's going to be on January 8th. It's not going to be on the days before Christmas as has been originally planned. And we could be disappointed by this change. We could say that the desert of white snow has come in and destroyed our expectations. And that is true to some extent. We had expected to be together at this time and in this place, and now we have to be interrupted and have our plans change. And if it was only for circumstances that we wait, if it is only for seasons that we wait, if it is not simply for God that we wait, we sometimes can get involved in things that are idols in our life. I mentioned this maybe before. I mentioned a sermon not that long ago. When I was in youth group, we had a wonderful, beautiful trip to Washington, D.C. It was with Youth for Christ. We had all these amazing Christian rock bands, and we were with 8,000 other youths in and around Washington, D.C., and saw these great Christian speakers. And I thought I had reached what I would consider Christian heaven, at least from my perspective at that time. Now I look back and I think that I probably had lowered my standards a little bit, even though it was a wonderful time. But the next year, our youth group decided we were going to go to North Dakota. And at that time, I thought, good grief, what a disappointment. All the expectations, the growth, the bands, and all the other things that got a youth excited to serve God and to serve others. And wow, to just take your rug underneath it and go to the Great Plains of the upper Midwest, which aren't very far away. But you know what I found at both places? God showed up. And I saw God in the plains of North Dakota. I saw God in the poor Indian reservation, if not even more than I saw amongst the youth and Christian bands and speakers. And I learned something very profound and also has ruined my life and for some situations maybe even has ruined my preaching. It isn't that I don't get excited about big events anymore, I do. But I've come to realize that what I need to be excited about is not what happens at these events, not the circumstances in which these events come around. I need to be excited about meeting God. And whether it's going to be in the desert or if it's going to be in a lush, beautiful place, whether it's going to be at a Christian celebration with 8,000 or simply me, Jesus, and the Bible together, or maybe even with a few other in fellowship. Now, sometimes we have that experience of disappointment when we plan great events like Christmas. And we get there and there's only a few people that show up because we had great expectations that it's only a party if only a large group of people show up. I grew up at a very large church. We had 8,000 members, we had 8 pastors. And you know what? I've seen God more vividly in the small churches I have served than I ever did at the big church that had all the great programs and nothing against it. I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon, but I'm saying is that what I needed and I learned to be excited about is not how beautiful things are and our decorations, not how beautiful the music is, and I've seen good music and I've seen bad music, and I've seen God show up when there's bad music too, and wasn't all the decorations that needed to happen. What I do need to see is God show up. Whether it's big or small, whether it's beautiful or subpar, whether it's in the exciting places like the America's capital or in the plains of North Dakota on a poor Indian reservation. What we need to be excited about even today, whether we find ourselves doing activities or getting stuck at home because of the blizzard, is God here? And that's the question we need to ask ourselves. God bless you today. We trust that these continue to be words of encouragement. Next couple days, we'll be reflecting upon Jesus and on Christmas. So let us prepare to meet together, and hopefully it will be in person. We pray that that will be the case. But if not, know that God is with us. Emmanuel. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.